It is 7 o'clock. I hereby call to order this December 11th, 2023 Whitman Housing Authority meeting. This meeting is being recorded. Roll call. Terry, are you here?
Here.
Michelle, are you here?
Here.
Patty, are you here?
Present.
Bob is in remotely. Are you here, Bob?
Yes, I am.
Then we're all here. Board review and vote of the minutes of the meeting for the regular board meeting for November 13th, 2023. We will handle these in A, B, C, and D. November 2023 vouchers, October 2023 bank balances, October 2023 financial statements and tenants accounts receivable, QE 9/30/23.
You skipped one.
I did.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll do that one and go back. We're going to do the one I read first, and I will go back to the other one because I put a check next to it accidentally before I even read it. Did everyone have a chance to read the financial reports and all of the money?
What happened to the minutes of the meeting report?
I said I'm going to go back to it.
Oh, all right, I'm sorry. Didn't understand.
We're going back to number 3 afterwards. We're going to begin again, Finnegan.
Did anybody have any questions for Eileen about any of the vouchers, bank balances, financial statements, and tenant accounts?
No.
So I'm just going to quickly say a few things. Looking at the financials, we're in good shape. Our income is just a little bit short on the state side, $1,270, but it's 99.4%, close to budget. Our admin expense is down $4,757. Our utilities are down $16,420. Our maintenance is down $3,872. But our general expense is up $2,957. So right now we are in good shape on the state. On Harvard Court, we are up in income by $233,497. We are down in admin expense by $855. We are up in utilities for Harvard Court by $11,055. We are down in ordinary maintenance by $726. We're down in general expense by $348. And our net income is up by $24,450. I'd also just like to quickly remind on the tenants accounts receivable, the write-offs that we had previously are not reflected in this because that was done in November. No, actually it was done in October 16th. And therefore this was through 9/30 of 2023. So that amount, that the large amount that was written on is not reflected in this report. Is there any other questions on the checks or anything?
I'll make a motion that we accept the finance report. A, B, C, and D.
I will second that.
Motion by Bob, second by Terry to accept the financial reports A, B, C, and D.
Second by Tricia.
Patty, sorry.
I was the second. Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now going back to question 3, did everybody have a chance to read the minutes of the meeting for November 13th, 2023?
Yes. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the board meeting from November 13th, 2023.
I'll second the motion. We will accept the minutes from the meeting November 2023.
Motion by Patty, second by Terry to accept the minutes of the meeting for November 13th, 2023. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Question 5. Sorry about skipping around, guys. The executive director presents the results of the agreed upon procedures audit for the Fed fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023.
Okay, so as we have done in the past, there are no findings, no exceptions to any of the guidelines that we need to follow. They looked at a lot of different categories, including the financial statements, general ledger, public housing notice for direct cost exemptions, write-offs, vacancies, payroll, compensated absences, capital and non-capital asset inventory, procurement, and our tenant selection of all programs, state voucher program and state elderly and handicapped housing. So no findings.
Excellent.
Very good. Do I hear a motion to accept the executive director's presentation of the audit for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023?
I'll make a motion that we accept the audit for the year ending June 30th, 2023. Second motion.
I'll second that.
Motion by Terry, second by Michelle. Sorry, Bob, she beat you, and she's soft-spoken. To accept the audit for fiscal year ending 2023. All in favor?
Aye.
Board review and vote on change order number 1 for the Fullerton Ave porch replacement project 338087 to replace conduit, feeding the exterior porch light, and complete the current code requirements. What do we need to fix it? Stetson?
So the wiring that went from the outside light over the porch
Okay.
to the panel needed to be replaced. I don't know what they call it, but to be in compliance with code and up to code. So that was $800 for the cost of that. That we had to do, the contractor did not necessarily have permission to do that right away. He said he would eat the cost if he had to. I don't think he should have to. It is something that we needed to do to be in code. So $800 to do that is somewhat reasonable.
For an electrician, absolutely.
Do I hear a motion to accept the change order to pay the $800 for the exterior porch light on Fullerton Ave?
I'll make a motion to accept that.
I'll second that.
Motion by Patty, second by Bob. We will accept the change order for the Fullerton Ave porch project in the amount of $800 for the electrician. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Board review and vote on change order number 2 for the Fullerton Ave porch replacement project number 338087 to provide 1.5-inch exterior gridded insulation on the front facet under the new vinyl siding.
Okay, so this is $5,200. It is being paid for with sustainability funding. So this is of no cost to the Housing Authority. It is not drawing on our formula funding at all. This is money that is coming in from the sustainability. So this does not affect Whitman Housing Authority at all. There was, when they took the siding off, there was areas that had like this thick that had to come off, so it needed to be filled in with something. Obviously, insulation was the preferred. So, like I said, it's not costing any formula funding funds from the Whitman Housing Authority. It's being paid for under the sustainability with sustainability funding. from DHCD, or EOHLC rather.
I'll make a motion to accept the, the change order for the exterior rigid insulation.
Second the motion.
Motion by Patty, second by Michelle, to accept the change order number 2 for the Fullerton Ave porch replacement project for insulation underneath the new vinyl siding in the amount of $5,200. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm repeating myself. Board review and vote to change order number 3 on the Fullerton Ave porch replacement project 338087 to replace the trim at the front facet window with metal to match.
Okay, so that includes all windows on the front of the house. To me, it sounds expensive, but the architect signed off on it as reasonable cost. So we will be using formula funding additional formula funding to pay for that.
How much is the windows? The metal over the windows.
$4,000.
So what is it, wood trim and then there's metal too?
Yeah, I forget what they call that.
Like fascia
Flashing
board.
or something?
Flashing,
But-
fascia. Well, it's the trim facade.
So it's the whole front of the building. So it's the whole front, and it is the trim and I think windows have, I can't remember what it's called, but it would be metal on the outside.
Well, those windows were always covered by a porch, so
Yeah.
they didn't have to have the same protection to the elements. And now that the porches are gone, window protection. Where's John when I need him?
I know. I didn't even have time to review this whole-
Do I hear a motion to accept change order number 3 in the Fullerton Ave porch product to put metal on the front of the windows?
I'll make a motion to accept change order number 3.
I'll second the motion that we accept change order number 3 on the Fullerton Ave front windows, trim and metal.
Motion by Patty, second by Terry, for change order number 3 for the Fullerton Ave porch replacement project to fix the metal that was formerly covered by porches in something we don't understand. It has to be there in the amount of $4,000. All in favor?
Aye.
Board review and vote change order number 4 on the Fullerton Ave porch replacement project 338087 to repair the entrance side of the bay window roof overhang to match the other 2 sides.
That sounds like roofing. Like roofing shingles to make it match?
Yeah, it's definitely that. I'm looking at it to try to.
I think it's like an angled overhang and they're trying to make the front match the sides.
So let me look at this again.
How much is change order number 4?
$3,900. So the bay window, I believe, is the second floor. I could be wrong. Could be on the first floor also, first and second floor. So when they took the old siding off, this is what what they found was not something that we knew about, nor did the architect. He approved the cost of change orders for me to present to you. I don't know if it's a good price or not, to be truthful. we're kind of stuck. One thing about this project is that they have not asked for the Housing Authority's contribution towards the HILAT project of $23,000. So this project was really done. Actually, it's not even going to be formula funding money. This is HILAT money that's paying for this, and they have not asked the Housing Authority to contribute the $23,000 that we used as to get funding. They have not asked us for that. Mm-hmm. So they may end up asking. I mean, altogether, I think the ones that's actually cost to that's not being paid for with sustainability funds is $8,700. So if we have to pay out, even if we had to pay out the $8,700, it's still part of that $23,000 that got us this project for nothing. So it's up to you. Like I said, I don't know enough about this. I didn't have time to talk to John or go over it with him. Today has been a crazy day. I've been interviewing people for Betty's position and trying to get ready for the maintenance one. I'm working on that too. So it's been very difficult for me to have time to really look into this. I just know that the architect signed off on the costs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's my problem. Why did the architect let 3 and 4 get by before the went out for bid?
Say that again. I'm sorry, Bob.
Why did the architect pick this up before this went out for bid?
Because it's behind the siding.
Yeah, when you rip the siding
Around
off.
the windows, there's stuff to do. Just he should have picked up before, not in the middle of the job.
I don't know what kind of trim they would. I don't know if they were taking down vinyl trim. I'm not sure, Bob, to be truthful.
Yeah, when you rip off trim, you never know what you're going to find.
I realize that, but the point is, it just seems like an awful lot of money.
Well, to me, it seemed like a lot of money too, Bob. To be truthful, I don't have the knowledge of construction to know if that's a good price or not. But it is the job of the architect, and he's telling me that it's a reasonable amount. I'm kind of with you, but I mean, I can't back it up with fact. I don't know enough about construction nor this in particular.
Right. No.
It could have been up against the porch, and now that it's
Yeah, because we
No,
knocked
they
down
have to
2
finish
porches.
that
Yeah,
side.
we tore 2 porches off the house,
yeah.
and then we took
But
the
this
siding
is
off the
the
house.
bay windows that would have been protected by the porch, because it says the side of the bay window.
Yeah.
So the porch would have been the overhang for that, where it has the 3 big windows in the front of the house that comes out. So when you take the porch off, you're left with a big hole there. The architect should have picked up on it because the porch was there, but I know the side of the house would have to be filled in with something.
I'll make a motion to accept change order number 4.
I'll second the motion that we accept change order number 4 on Fuller Ave.
Motion by Patty, second by Terry, to accept change order number 4 for the entrance side of the bay window roof overhang to match the other 2 in the amount of $3,900. And we do all agree it's a lot of money. All in favor?
Aye.
Board discussion and vote to partner with Supportive Housing Program if it is funded to enter a...
Memorandum of understanding.
Thank you very much, Miranda.
Memorandum
What the heck is that?
Memorandum of
Understanding with Old Colony Elder Services.
So this program it's not something new, but it's something new to small housing authorities. I spoke with Brockton Housing Authority, the director there, Tom Tebow, and he said they've had it for many years. It works out really great. So what they will be providing on a daily basis is meals. So they will have hot meals, they'll have sandwiches, things like that. They'll do a lunch every day. They will deliver it to people if they're homebound. So that's something that's going to be available at all 3 complexes. They are also providing, so what Terry does, Terry's not going anywhere. We don't want her going anywhere. We want her to stay here till her last day of life. So she basically, the majority of what she does is all the medical insurance, medical prescription plans, anything that's going to save the tenant out-of-pocket expenses and what's best for them based on, she'll put in everybody's, every single medication they're on, and that, the drug finder will tell her which prescription plan will be best. And sometimes you see $100 to $300 difference in the cost of prescription medications. She's had an awful hard time trying to get people services. And part of the reason, services like, personal care, home care, laundry, grocery shop, and things like that, can't even get anyone to call back.
Wow.
So they don't have enough people. And what Terry and I both think is what they're leaning towards is sort of streamlining the work that they do, Old Colony Elder Services. So what they would do is they would have a staff here every day. They would be using that office Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You had to provide them an office, which we don't use that a lot. If I need to use it, I'll just have to tell them they'll have to stay out here. They need a file cabinet, so I do have to purchase a file cabinet, but I think that's about it. I get a phone line for them, but we're just canceling 2 phone lines on a fire alarm system at Pine Circle. So we went to radio control over the phone line. So we shouldn't see a change in Verizon telephone bills. So what I think is really good about it is that our people here, so for Old Colony Elder Service, they're going to be more productive because they've got the 3 elderly properties here, and they'll also be working with West Bridgewater. West Bridgewater, they'll probably be there 20% of the time, 80% of the time at our elderly properties. We do have an office at Stetson Terrace, so she will be there, 1 full day a week, half a day here, I'm not sure. Pine Circle does not necessarily a private meeting area with the tenants, so they would go to their apartments. They would help me out with hoarders. They would also help out with personal care issues that might tend to affect people around them, their neighbors. I think streamlining what they do is going to be, like I said, more productive for them instead of someone that comes here and takes care of one person here and then goes and does someone on the other side of Whitman and then goes to, Bridgewater, and then, I think they're realizing it's not working the way they're doing it. So they have started doing this with large housing authorities. Now they're trying to partner with the smaller housing authorities, and they're trying to partner small housing authorities together so that they can, provide the personnel in the meal program to everyone. And like I said, it streamlines things for them. Terry thinks it's a great idea. She said, she's been trying to get services for people for a while, and they don't have enough people, it seems. Although I said it could be something different. It could be that that they're doing this program all over the state now too. So they're targeting areas where there's all elderly or disabled, rather than sort of jumping all over the place over local distance, but still not. If it takes you 20 minutes to get to the next person. You're there for an hour, and then you go, 25 minutes to the next person. You're losing time.
Right.
So anyway. So Terry thinks it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. Tom Tebow said they've had it for many years, and they're very pleased with it. There will be someone on call for emergency. So if there is someone that has personal care issues or health issues, they have a number to call, and someone will go to their apartment. And so even if it's, a personal care issue, if someone, got sick and they're just, it's all over them or whatever, they will go over and assist them. And then they'll do med checks on people, make sure, phone calls, did you take your medicine yet this morning? So they'll meet with some of our residents that need more help than, we're able to provide. And it really isn't something that, that staff should be doing with them.
Right.
It's staff from Old Colony Elder Services. So, like I said, Terry thinks it's a good idea. It sounds good to me. I got reference. And so, it's in your hands. But that's if we get funded too. We don't know. We had to send in this letter of intent. And if it is funded, then we will enter into a memorandum of understanding with Old Colony Elder Services.
Sounds good to me. I'll make a motion that if funded, that we partner with the Old Colony Elder Services.
Second motion.
Motion by Patty, second by Michelle, to accept, if funded, the supporting housing program with Old Colony Elder Services. All in favor?
Aye.
Bob?
I'm not in favor, so I'm going to abstain.
Okay.
I've got a problem with all three Old Colony. I worked for them for 14 years, and they don't even know who I am. So I'm going to abstain from that one.
So your vote is no?
No, it's
Yes.
just, it's no? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Let me write this down.
I don't like the way it's set up either, especially with the veterans down here, because they're getting all that care from the Veterans Administration. There's two of us down here that we do not want them knocking on our door.
Would,
We have enough people sent to us by the VA, social workers, nurses, doctors, and coming drawing our blood, so on and so forth. And that's one of the reasons, but I have other reasons behind it. So I'd rather.
no, that's it. Bob, you have the right to say no, and I totally understand. Would people could they say that they want to be exempt from this program?
Oh yeah, they'll get a phone call that you do not have to participate if you don't want to participate. It's not forced on anyone.
And they can use it in addition to veteran services if they choose to?
If they
Or-
chose to, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's their choice.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we are not forcing this on anyone.
One other thing you thought of was hot meals. Is that Meals on Wheels, or is that something new?
I guess it's something new, Bob. So it would not always be a hot meal for lunch. It would be, sometimes it would be a warm meal. Sometimes it would be like sandwich or something, and they would deliver that. They're trying to make it more affordable. The cost of food has gone up. Food stamps for a lot of people have gone down. So it's something and that's not forced on anyone either. That's up to someone if they want it or not. What the premise of that is not only food stability, but it's also trying to get people to be around other people. Meet for lunch. So we're hoping that socially that improves things socially for a lot of our tenants that are, maybe don't have family close by or don't have a lot of friends close by, or they're a little bit shy. Maybe they can come down and get to know people. I don't know how it's going to work out. We can always, it's not like we're signing a contract. It's a memorandum of understanding. We are not obligated to stay in it if we find that it's not working for us. Definitely.
Right. No, the reason I brought it up, like down here, we have people that are in need are usually on Meals on Wheels, and now they eliminate Meals on Wheels because there's a load of money on Meals to be sent out yet. So, where's this food coming from? Like Blackton or
Bless you.
Where's what coming from, Bob?
where's the food coming from?
The funding?
Food.
Oh, the food. Oh, I don't know where the food's coming from.
They might partner with the Meals on Wheels program, the elder services.
As far as I know, it's funded by the state.
They have
People
not.
pay for their Meals on Wheels. That is not a free program.
No, I mean this.
Wheels is a federal program.
But most people are supposed to make a donation to pay for it, right, Bob? Even though they don't?
It's a donation. They don't have to pay for it. When I was delivering, when I first started, probably 8 out of 12 people would pay me every week. And, $2 or whatever. Then all of a sudden, everything stopped. And I finally asked the one woman, I said, how come you're not paying anymore? She says, well, we were told by the other guy, driver, that it's a donation, we don't have to pay. So they stopped paying. But he told every one of them, we have practically nothing. We have like $15 a month a week coming in. But no, I'm just wondering how they're doing it. And not only that, they stopped the hot meals when I was doing Meals on Wheels. And went to the car, everything was cold, and they had to heat them up in their own microwave. Because they had to opening the containers on the hot meals. The arthritis, cut hands, or whatever. So they made it easier with doing them in your microwave. But I'm just wondering, they said hot meals, I'm just wondering if they should have said hot meals from Meals on Wheels.
I don't think so. Meals on Wheels was never brought up, but it is something I will definitely look into, and I'll get back to you, Bob, on as soon as I can.
Not only that, Meals on Wheels comes out of Old Colony. My check is made out to Old Colony every month, from Old Colony, my mileage. Fran Cruz works for Old Colony, the kitchen.
Oh, she does. Oh. All right, I'll look into that tomorrow and find out. I'll send an email.
It says on the bottom of this letter here, we are also able to provide at no cost adequate kitchen facilities, dining space, and equipment to meet the needs of the meal requirement for the SHP.
Yes. So we have, all of our complexes have kitchens and stoves, ovens, refrigerators, and stoves.
Yeah, it may bring some people out, and some people might need help getting their medication straight. Or, to your point, if they happen to, get sick or have a personal accident and they need help.
Yep.
And they don't want to call a daughter or something who's working.
Or they don't have children or anybody to call.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think there's more to it than just the meals. I think it's multifaceted.
And like I said, we're not signing a contract with anyone. It's a memorandum of understanding. So if it's not working for us the way that we anticipated or the way that it was told to us, then we can stop it at any time. Mm-hmm. There may be 20% of our residents that take services from this. Maybe more, maybe less. So we'll see how it works out. For right now, we don't even know if we're funded. So, why don't I look into the Meals on Wheels thing tomorrow, Bob?
Yeah. I'm just curious because, like I say, it comes out of Old Colony. So.
Yeah.
Meals on Wheels, it seems like most of the people are housebound who get it, whereas some of these
Right.
people who are out and about can go to this.
Yep. Yep.
So question 10 is 3 board members in favor, 1 board member opposed. Am I correct on that,
Yes, you are.
ladies?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
3 in favor, 1 opposed.
3 in favor, 1 opposed on question 10, and Eileen will look into that and get back to Mr. McPhail as soon as she has time. Board discuss and vote regarding staff authorization to make deposits on Tondair Bank. Changes allow only those names on the account to make deposits.
Okay, so,
That changed 3 years ago.
so Kerry does all the deposits. And so Santander, she usually only has to go to once a month. It's at the end of the month when we do our, we transfer funding for the full month's costs. She can't deposit in the account. So she can't, so the checks that Bob and I signed for from Rockland Trust to go into Santander to reimburse it, she cannot make a deposit. So I would like to add her name to it so that she's able to do it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do it, and I do not have time to go do deposits.
Is
drive
it
to Abington.
checks and cash?
Huh?
Is it checks and cash?
Any deposit.
Oh, it used to just be you could not deposit cash unless your name was on the account.
Yeah, no, because she's not depositing cash. That's a check. That's it's a large check, but it's a check.
Okay.
So presumably you'd add Kerry to the account so she can
Make a deposit.
and
That's
presumably Betty's replacement as well, just in case Kerry was out one day.
No,
or-
I wouldn't. I'd just
Okay.
put Carrie. Carrie's been here since
Right.
2000 for 10 years. She's been here for
Right.
10 years. If Carrie's out, then I would do it. But it's just it's a lot. It takes a lot of
Yeah, it takes time.
and they're not down in Whitman Center anymore.
Right, they're gone. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I'll make a motion.
The point is, I can make a deposit, but she can't.
what?
The point is, I can make a deposit, but she can't.
Right,
My name's on the account.
right.
And she works in the office, I don't know. So that's why, something's gotta be done to straighten that mess up. I had a problem with it today too. I wrote a check to one of my sons for Santana. He wouldn't cash it. Because he doesn't have account with them. But the check is made out from their bank.
Yeah, they're awful.
Yeah, Bank of America's the same way. They're awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They changed their policies in November 16.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, right around that time, it when Kelly was telling me about the problems she was having.
Citizens Bank charges you money if you don't have an account with them.
Bank of America charges $12 to cash a check if you don't have an account there.
Really?
Yeah.
My point is, I got Santana. I wrote the check out on the Santana check. They should honor that check, whether he has an account there or not.
Absolutely.
Right. A check is no more than a promise to pay. That's all it is.
And you signed it, it's your money.
Right.
Right.
If I gave him a check and he went to the Rockland Trust and tried to cash his pay there, then I could see the point. Do you have an account here? No. Well, goodbye. But that's what Santana did. They will hear from me in the morning.
Well, they're based out of Spain, so there you go.
Yeah, I know they are, but
Yeah. Yep. Well,
So is this just for deposits? How would you know that?
So that's all. Yeah. So Santander, Bob and I signed all the checks. So she would just be depositing it only once a month, unless we need to do a transfer if the funding gets low, because the Santander Bank is our revolving account. So all the money from tenant rent comes into Rockland Trust, our accounts at Rockland Trust, whether it's Harvard Courts or whether it's the state side. So at the end of the month, we have to reimburse the revolving, so there's money for us to then pay bills in the month coming up. So we reimburse that at the end of every month. So Bob signs the Santander check, I sign the Santander check, and then Carrie deposits it. So that's all that she's doing, is just depositing checks that have been signed by myself and Bob.
Now, would this be also giving Carrie permission to sign checks?
No.
But her name would be on the account.
It's it's not something that I would allow because I would go to, your treasurer, correct? No, Bob's treasurer. If I'm not there, then we usually set it up that you're on the account, Kathy. So she wouldn't be a signer on the checks.
So just for deposit purposes only?
So my authorization would be just for deposits. Because we do have other people that are on the account that can sign. And I don't think I just think that it's better that the board who oversees the housing authority are the ones that sign the checks.
I agree.
So it's just for deposit, and it's to save me time, to be truthful. And it really doesn't make any sense that you have to show that you can't make a deposit in somebody's account. To me, it's ridiculous.
I know. I had that trouble with Bank of America, depositing a check for somebody else, and they didn't want me to deposit it, so it was ridiculous. I did cause a scene, and I was able to deposit the check because I caused a scene.
I too have caused quite a few scenes when I would make
I caused quite a scene. And
my boss's deposit.
Everybody in line was clapping when I caused the scene at the Bank of America in Brockton. On that note, I will make a motion to authorize Kerry to make deposits only to the Santander account.
Second.
Motion by Patty, second by Michelle, that we hereby give permission to Carrie Ann Vega to make deposits only in the Santander bank account. All in favor?
Aye.
Board review and vote to approve state contract for the accountant services. We're going to keep Steve. For July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024.
So they had a small increase from last year. Normally they follow the admin increase that Housing Authority admin staff get, but they did not do the 7% that the admin staff had gotten this year.
Well, if it's going
What
up.
was it, 217? No. What was it before, 1,000 a month?
No, I think it was 11 something. Let me see, let me look on the, see if I can find.
Accountants are expensive.
Well, he does a lot. It
All
says,
that line item
yeah, he
work
does
every
all-
month. Oh my
Oh,
God.
my eyes would go buggy.
and I prepare for him, but he's here for the full day. 11:57. So what did it go up to? 12:17. Yeah,
No, it's not that,
11:57.
yeah.
So
It's not that
yeah,
big a
no,
deal,
it didn't go
yeah.
up much.
I'm willing to make a motion to approve the accounting services for the period of July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024.
I'll second that.
Motion by Patty, second by Bob, that we keep Steve and his accounting company that we've used for years for the contract of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. All in favor?
Aye.
Board vote to accept the following public housing notices. Mass State Aid Housing Program,
Okay, so
property boiler machine crime insurance for the policy period of 11/17/23 to 11/17/24.
So I'm just going to jump to the director's report and just read the synopsis. So Executive Office of Housing and Livable Community has made a change to the insurance program rate structure, which became effective on 11/17/2023. In recognition of the greater insured property square footage and the increased claim risk for family housing, the 705 program will be charged a higher rate per unit. They would charge the same as as an elderly unit, even if we had a 4-bedroom single-family home. So the new rate for family will increase from $204 per unit to $321 per unit, and all elderly units will increase from $204 to $272. The deductible for all claims has also increased from $5,000 to $9,000 per claim. The new structure was determined based on the previous year's losses of over $10 million, which was the highest number of claims ever filed in 1 year.
Well, the deductible is really high.
Really high. That'll hurt.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, $9,000. If you had a couple of those in a year, that's a huge amount.
Usually you hear, 500 or 1,000.
But you're talking about public housing, so
Right.
it's so much more. Harvard Court's insurance is, what do we pay? $37,000 a year just for Harvard Court, and there are deductibles with them.
Wow.
So this one has always been managed. Sort of the state created their own insurance, and so this is truly the first year that they have had the losses that they've had. So I think prices were somewhat reasonable when you're talking about public housing. And I think with that loss of $10 million, that really hurt. And so that's when they looked at it and said, wait a minute, why are we only charging the 705 program, the family program, per unit, the same as we are for a 1-bedroom elderly property? So that's where they put as much as they could to. Because that only makes sense. Because if a single-family home, 4-bedroom, burns to the ground, that's worth a lot more than 1 unit. You know what I mean? So,
Is it Lloyd's of London? What's the insurance company?
it's it's Hayes Insurance,
Okay.
I believe.
So that's the insurance company, but not the policy. That could be
It's a Mass Narrow insurance.
Oh, okay.
And I
Okay.
think it's administered through Hayes Insurance.
Okay.
Or Brown and Brown. Maybe it's Brown and Brown.
Okay.
I'm
That
getting
sounds
myself
familiar.
confused.
Yeah. So
Brown
they
and
sound
Brown.
like the agent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Did they ever say what the 10 million in losses was?
There was a lot of claims because of wind.
Boston Housing got hit with a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, and so it
Floods
wasn't.
and-
Yeah, it wasn't us. It was the whole portfolio.
Floods
So
and fires.
yeah.
Because don't they mostly insure senior properties?
Not necessarily.
No, 'cause I just thought there was only several insurers in the state that.
There's only one. The one that we use, High Insurance, HAI, for Harvard Court. They're the only ones that do complexes like these. Except so Mass Narrow created their own. And so it's always been less money. It used to be $1,000, and then I remember it being like $3,000 deductible. Then it went to $5,000, and now it just jumped to $9,000. So that's huge. So they really took a big loss last year.
Yep.
And
That's
so
So it's
that-
going to cover all 3 properties?
it's not going to cover this. It'll cover all families, Pine Haven Drive, Pine Circle, Stetson Terrace, and all the scattered sites.
It's insurance for you. I'll make a motion to accept the public housing notice. And that would be PHN 2023-21 for the insurance.
Second.
Motion by Patty, second by Michelle, to accept the substantial increase. Sorry, I lost my paperwork. In the fire insurance coverage. All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, I found it. And that will date from 11/17/2023 to 11/17/2024. Executive Director's Report.
Okay, so quickly, I'd like to just go over the screening process. So ASG is the company that is being paid to determine emergency priority for our applicants. So to date, they've sent out 22,000 packets. Of the 22,000 packets sent, they've only seen a 20% response to the mailings. Of the 20% of mailings they received, only about 16.5% were granted the emergency priority they claimed. They allowed applicants 30 to 45 days to respond with documentation before a final determination was made. The calculation of 22,000 applicants that were confirmed as emergency priorities was only 726, which is a percentage of only 3.3%. So of the 22,000 that said they were emergencies, only 3.3% were substantiated. So our list today looks very different than it looked a couple of weeks ago.
That's unbelievable.
We have seen people fly to the top of the list, and looking at them, the majority of them are Whitman people. So they're getting the local preference of the 3 points. So all those 20 point, 20, 30, 40, 50 point people, they haven't substantiated it, their claims. Now, I feel bad because some people don't know what to do or how to do it. So I had someone call today. So Betty was speaking to her as we started the meeting to try to give her, tell her what she needed to have. Applicants are allowed to call ASG with questions. What is it? What do I need exactly? So you may see more people start to rise up back up to the top again. But so it's unfortunate that some people, I feel, will be underserved in the sense that they just get a rejection and they go, and they may truly be an emergency. But then again, we don't have people that checked off fire and flood and public action and eminent domain and all that stuff.
Loss of home.
Yeah, when it's not true. So instead of housing authorities, looking at the first 30 people on the list and finding out that none of them, if only 3% is actually substantiate.
Out of 100.
Yeah, so there's good and bad. So it's helpful to us in some sense, but it's not helpful to those that are not capable of understanding what they need. Right. They need, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But that moves up some Whitman preference, people that aren't emergency.
It did.
Right?
It did. Yeah, it did.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
In one sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I was surprised because I said, because Betty's like, they're not even emergencies. And
the
she
thing
was
is-
shocked by it. And
you fill out that paperwork, and it's like, your statements have to be true. You're signing that your statements
Right.
are true.
under pains and penalties and
Right.
perjury.
Right.
Yes.
Now, do they move back to the bottom of the list?
They will be changed from emergency priority to standard, so they fall where they fall based on when they apply. So it would be, they would get the position as if when they applied they were a standard applicant. So it would go back to the date that they applied, but they would no longer be an emergency priority because if it's
Right.
fire and flood,
really is
you
sad.
have to present the fire department's report of the fire, and if they can't do that. If they just checked it off,
Right.
then if they can't substantiate, then they'll be where they should be on the list. But I'm afraid there will be some people. So if anyone comes to you upset, needing some help, please let me know, and I will make sure that to have them in and to work with them to try to help people if I can.
It's sad.
It is sad. But we do have a lot of people that are not emergencies that are checking it off too.
Right.
But
So-
to go from 22,000 to 726?
Right.
It's very telling, isn't it?
But there could be those that are emergency and they just don't have the right documentation
Right.
in their packet.
Yep.
Or they don't know how to advocate for themselves.
But they are giving them,
Yeah.
they're telling them 10 days to get their paperwork in, but they're giving them, they're not making a final decision until about 30 to 45 days later.
But even if it went up to, if you added 1,000 people that really just didn't know how to do it, that's still a sad
It's still,
number.
yeah.
That still puts us under 10% of the people telling the truth. That's really sad.
I don't know. It's amazing to me that people will sign something under the pains of perjury and everything else and have it not be so. It's amazing to me, but
Unbelievable.
yeah, it's disappointing and sad.
So another big thing, Christmas party. at Harvard Court. It's being run by Paul Ellsworth and Joanne Beeland, and Paul got free food from just about everyone, and they
Oh,
are
nice.
delivering most
Nice.
of them. I think there's only a couple places that we have to pick up from, so that's great too. So hopefully everything goes well.
Local restaurants donated the food?
Yes.
Nice.
So this year it was done by tenants, not by you poor ladies?
No, we didn't. We don't have time to take it on, to be truthful. He asked if he could do that, and we said sure. I mean, the tenants are allowed to,
Gather and have fun.
yeah.
Yeah, good for them.
I think they've got a high amount of people. We're wondering now if we got enough room for that many people. Yeah.
It says 75.
Yeah.
Wow.
You got the hall. Can't be any colder out
Well,
there
I
than
know
it
we
is in
did
this
that,
room.
and the last time we had one, we did have people in the hallway too. So.
Nice. Nice.
That is really nice. Does anybody have any questions for Eileen about the executive director's report?
I'll make a motion we accept the executive director's report.
I'll second the motion that we accept the executive director's report.
Motion by Patty, second by Terry to accept the executive director's report. All in favor? Correspondence. Do we have any love letters?
Nope, nothing today.
No correspondence.
New business. Anybody got anything?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. McPhail. What can we do for you?
Eileen,
Yeah.
gutter monkeys.
Yep.
Whose gutters did they clean? Just Harvard Court?
No, it was scattered sites. All our scattered sites. We have the screens at Harvard Court, in Pine Circle, and I don't know. Do we have them at Stetson Terrace? I can't remember.
We got up the wrong roofs since we put the new roofs on.
Right. So do we have the screens in the ones at Stetson Terrace, Bob?
The what?
The screens, like the gutter guards?
No, that's what I'm calling about.
We don't have leaf guards on those gutters, Bob?
Huh?
Do we have leaf guards on the gutters at Stetson Terrace?
No, we do not. That's why I'm calling. Just bringing it up. I signed a check for the gutter monkeys. And for that kind of money, I don't know why we don't have them. And, but people don't realize it, but you can get them at Home Depot and Lowe's now. And you install them yourselves.
Like leaf filter.
Oh, like the screen guards for the gutters?
Yeah, I'm just looking at what they project this for a year, and you add that up over 20 years, it's a lot of money. So, that's what I'm basically saying. If you put the screen guards on there, it should make a big difference in the finances as far as that goes.
I mean, some of those roofs are old. I mean, we have.
Do we have the guards on the ones that have the court?
What?
Do we have guards on the ones at Harvard Court?
Yes.
Yeah, because the roofs are newer.
Yeah.
So they did it when they
Yeah.
did the
So when
roofs.
we do that, when we do
Our
roofs,
roofs are new too. I was only a couple of years old now. But I'm just, actually there's a couple buildings down here that wouldn't even need them because there's nothing near them. But then there's a building that's up here on the hill with that big tree in front of my apartment. But I've never seen anybody down here cleaning gutters. That's another thing.
okay, all right. I'll look into that, Bob.
Oh,
Why am I not seeing gutter monkeys on here?
what's that?
They're on
Patty's
there
looking
somewhere.
for the gutter
I saw
monkeys.
drain remedy. I didn't even notice gutter monkeys on here, Bob. Thank you for pointing it out.
Yeah, I found out my son-in-law is an engineer for, supervisor engineer for Verizon, and he's the one that told me you can buy the guides at Home Depot or Lowe's. Well, that's so beautiful.
I didn't know that.
It's down the road, all I'm trying to do is save us a few dollars, but
Hey, every penny counts.
like I said, I'll be honest, I'm here 24/7, and I haven't seen anybody clean the gutters, and I'm sure if they clean the gutters by my window, I'd sure the hell see them. No, that's why That's why I asked if it was just out of court. But I didn't realize the outside housing too, so. But I don't know how John would feel about that either.
Well, if we have them here, we should have them there.
Maybe we didn't have enough money
That
then.
was my reason for bringing it up is because I just hate to pay that kind of money. Call me cheap in my old age, I guess, but
No, that makes sense. I'll talk to John about it when I see him.
Well, I'll see him tomorrow.
What months do they clean the gutters out?
We try to. It's in our preventive maintenance schedule, so I call to get a date. Usually October, November-ish.
Do we have any other new business?
No, I was just going to say, looking at next year, we'll have to come up with some ideas for CPA money for next year. The time has already closed for pre-applications.
Yeah. So when is?
Pre-applications next year would probably be September, October.
All right. So bring it up if you remember at the July meeting.
Right.
I'll try to put paper. I'm gonna write on this on my notes here.
Pre-application, yeah. This year they only got one pre-application, and that was for a different historical commission.
Yeah, I feel like we had more time last year.
Yeah, they kind of snuck up, but then, But next year, it's all right, the money's banking.
All right, so I'm gonna put something in. I have a board meeting folder that I throw things in throughout the month that I'm gonna address. So I'm gonna put something in there that says CPA, and so
June, July, if we can think of a project that fits the criteria that we can do and apply for money, that would be good.
all right.
We like money.
So I'll put that in. I'll put that in that
come up
folder.
with a few ideas for you.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of time between now and, July, August.
And CPA projects. Okay.
We can start making lists. If we all get together, I bet you we can come up and ask for a lot of money.
Yeah, if you look at the CPA site, it helps give you some ideas. If you put in keyword, housing authorities, and you take a look, you can really, in a lot of cases, it's roofs and windows and stuff like that.
I know. I wish that. I'm thankful that they gave us money for the underground wiring. That was awesome.
Yep.
I'd love to get it for Pine Circles paving because that is dangerous up there. And we seem to. There's always something else that trumps it. You know what I mean? And it doesn't get any better in the upper parking lot. So it's too bad. But I do understand that they don't do site work, but they did.
Yes, we don't have. I have a CPA meeting tomorrow night, but there isn't much going on. Not much.
Oh, that's true too, huh?
Yeah.
Not much to talk
Tomorrow
about.
night, no. Just one little historical commission thing. That's it. It's tomorrow night.
Open forum. What is the new rule on open forum?
The new rule is that a subject can be brought up to be put on the agenda for the following meeting.
So we will no longer handle anything from the audience other than emergencies?
Well, so if Ruth had something to say right now, like if she was asking questions, why can't we do this, why can't we do that, I would say we'll put it on next month's agenda. So it can't be discussed unless it's on the agenda.
Okay, so open forum is you can make a suggestion to put something on the next month's agenda.
Yep.
But if it's if it's a faucet, that's something that they have to just put a work order in for the
Yeah,
office, and it
that's
doesn't
not-
belong at the meeting.
Yeah, it doesn't belong to me, yeah.
Perfect.
And what if it is a safety concern? I know a tenant brought up a while ago that doors were being raised open or things like
Well,
that.
that should be brought to me so
Can
that
that
I
be
can,
brought to you before or after the meeting?
that should be brought to me as soon as it happens. They shouldn't
Right.
wait for a board meeting to
No,
bring
that's
that.
called the office.
Yes.
Immediately.
Yes.
Right.
And so, and I mean, those are the bylaws for board meetings. So yeah, I mean, that should be brought up immediately to me, not to wait till the next board meeting to bring up. So if it's a question about, can we get new benches? Can we do this? Can we do that? Then that would be put on the agenda for the following month.
Do you have anything, ma'am, that you would like on next month's agenda?
No, but I will come up with there are a couple of things I did have that have been, when you were talking about people going on this, my way of putting it, waiting to come in here, and I don't know how to put it in something, but it just bothers me that sometimes there are people, they're not like you're talking about, who would like to put their name and, live somewhere. And you see different people come in here, which I have, nothing to do with just, they're not speaking good English and stuff.
So, like I said, the list, it appears that the list is getting back on track, so that the people that are truly emergencies are getting that priority, and all those that claimed it that don't have it, our Whitman people will just keep popping up. So, like I said, Betty did a poll list, and I would say the top 3 were from Whitman. So the list has changed.
I know before coming to the office, and I can ask you anything, and you give me the right direction.
Yeah.
So you get some, okay, I learned something, but I just wondered because somebody would ask me, whom I had told way over here in months. And I just said, I haven't got any answer, I just keep, what I say here, or to her in the office, I said, I have no college meetings to make somebody who drop. Do you know what I mean?
No.
No.
None of us do.
None of us do.
None of
Not
us
even employees would never do that either. We don't compromise the list for anyone. We have had, state senators' offices calling, and we do not compromise the list for anyone, nor should we, nor should any housing authority. So, but if anyone has questions, Ruth, tell them to give me a call. I'll talk to them. And just let them know what the system is, and find out if, in fact, they may be an emergency and they did not check off a box that said they are an emergency. So, just by talking to someone on the phone and us asking questions, that could change someone's status because they are not filling out the application properly either. So
this is true. That's why this is when the question was. We had seen some people that are having a hard time with the English and stuff,
Yeah. So if anyone, if anyone has a question, just say, have them call us and say, Ruth told me to call you, and, I will ask them all the right questions so that if they get a preference or a priority of any type, I want to make sure that they get that. Preference or priority. They will have to substantiate a priority through ASG, the new company, because we don't make that determination. We make the determination for veteran status, for local status. If they are an emergency, I will, if they believe they're an emergency, I will, we will guide them as to what documentation they need to provide to ASG.
That might even help too.
Yeah.
Because it could be there. And somebody would have family in another town and stuff. And so, just by talking to them, they get more answers from me. I haven't gone to school to have all the right answers from me. And how people ask me questions.
Yep, I know.
Call her.
I'm not cheating on the phone.
How long does somebody have to be a Whitman resident to have residency status?
At the time of application and at the time that they come to the top of the list. Or that they work in Whitman. So they have to be able to substantiate that with paycheck stubs from a business in Whitman.
I'll take that money. Thank you.
And do I hear a motion for question 18, anybody?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Terry, second by Michelle. This meeting is hereby adjourned.